Thank you for joining us today for Cape Chronicle. I'm Audrey Kane. We'll be talking about the Southeast Health College of Nursing and Health Sciences, the importance of technical careers, and rock and roll. Our guest, Dr. Steve Langdon, president of the Southeast Health College of Nursing and Health Sciences, is here to talk to us about the programs the college offers. Dr. Libby Williams is here today to discuss why we should educate high school graduates to pursue technical careers. And Kirby Ray, Real Rock 99.3 program director, joins us as well. That's all ahead on Cape Chronicle.
Wheels to Leon for 13 years.
It's always a pleasure to see you.
Leon has definitely inspired me to put more into my relationships. He really cared for his wife, who was ailing for quite a while, in such a touching way that inspired me to be a better person.
Drop off a warm meal and get more than you expect. Volunteer at americaletsdolunch.org.
America, let's do lunch.
Welcome to Cape Chronicle. I'm Audrey Kane. Dr. Steve Langdon is the president of the Southeast Health College of Nursing and Health Sciences, and he's here to talk with us about the programs the college offers and the need for more healthcare professionals. Thank you for coming, Dr. Langdon.
Thank you, Audrey. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, so we had a little pre-interview so that I would know, be a little bit more familiar, because I don't want to say only. I want to say that the school offers more than nursing, and I think that there are a lot of people that may not realize that.
That's true. The College of Nursing has been around Cape for a long time, and it's been a part of Southeast for a long time. They've had other programs within the healthcare system that they actually then pulled out and put with the college. The radiology tech program, for an example, has been around for a long time, but it's not been as visible as the school or college of nursing. And once we added rad tech, often called rad tech, we've also then put in surgical technology as well as medical laboratory science. And those are very popular, right behind nursing, but nursing also often gets most of the publicity because there's such a high demand for them in the healthcare system.
Sure, and there are a lot of medical offices, hospitals, doctors' offices, things like that in this area. So of course we have a high demand. But one of the things I'm curious about is how has that upturn in the economy affected the number of students that you have enrolled?
The upturn in economy over the last 2 to 3 years has really had an effect on a lot of colleges all over the country. There's other factors that are in play as well, but the improved economy really drew people back into the workforce. The career changers have found a place in the career that they want, and are less of them are seeking additional training to go to another career. There's also been less high school graduates in most of the states across the country, so that market is also dropping. And plus there's many opportunities and choices for students to get additional education and training besides coming to a college or university. So all those options and situations comes together to put a little bit of a challenge to a lot of the schools and their enrollment numbers and where they go to seek after the market of students to put into the careers.
Well, and speaking of enrollment and those choices, what is it that makes your college different that you think really should draw people in and want to attend there?
One of the main reasons is we are very we're completely health science centered. So we are looking to educate individuals that want to go to work in the healthcare system. Healthcare is under heavy demand. For many years lately, the baby boomers, we've always heard that in the last 5 to 10 years, they're getting older and going in and they're drawing heavy on healthcare. But some of the ability of our healthcare system to diagnose and treat has really gone leaps and bounds over what it has in past decades. And so people are being able to be seen and treated for things that today that they weren't able to get treated for in the past. And so it really adds to the focus and the ability that our community has to work towards a better life and a better health environment in our societies. So that kind of a push and kind of a draw really maintains a workforce and a need and a demand for people to come into that healthcare setting that has the training to do the quality work on the equipment and the technology that's come to us today.
So do you have new programs? Are there any programs that you have ideas about that you want to bring forward in order to recruit new students?
Right. A small college like Southeast Health, sometimes it's difficult for funding and resources to go after some of the things that are more contemporary, like the technology. But we have to do that. Our communities need it for us to be able, particularly around Cape Girardeau, is much different than if we were recruiting students who lived in St. Louis or Kansas City or Chicago, where I have worked before. So the way we go about education and the use of technology is very important for us to be able to reach a larger region and be able to bring educational support, increased economic status, and health care to the people who live more rural than those who live in town.
I was talking with someone recently that said they were interested in getting into a program that was in St. Louis and they were on a waiting list.
Right.
How difficult is it to get into Southeast Health's program?
The size of a program is generally set by a lot of the resources that we have available. One of the challenges, particularly for nursing that's been known for a long time, is finding a nurse who has the appropriate level of education to come into a college level. Generally, they have to have a master's degree. Oftentimes, when you get to our level or Southeast Missouri State University, they need a doctorate. And so finding those nurses with that kind of a background can be challenging. The second challenge is not only is there didactic or classroom education, but there's also lab and clinical experience, that hands-on clinical experience that really drives home the knowledge that the students gain in the classroom, and helping them to be able to apply it in a work environment is quite essential. And having those clinical experiences also is a challenge, as a lot of the healthcare starts to expand, because our regional accreditors require acute care education, which is basically in the hospital. It's challenging for us to then be creative on how we get that clinical experience as healthcare moves out into ambulatory care or home health care, to be able to get those clinical experiences. So there's a challenge in clinical space for education, hands-on education, as well as the qualifications of the faculty to teach. So both of those are challenges that we try to find ways to overcome, and technology often helps us do that.
I know that some students aren't necessarily, they're already experienced, and just real quickly, are they able to come in and get additional education through Southeast Health?
So there's several things that I'm looking at doing over the next year or two, and one is to be able to use the technology to deliver education from a distance, and through that technology, whether it's at work or at home or at the library, wherever they're at, they can tune into an academic environment in an online situation, be able to either synchronously, in the presence of the faculty person electronically or virtually, or face-to-face, have a communication with that faculty person. So whether it's a chat feature or an instant messenger, be able to have that instant feedback. And then the other one is to be able to do what we call credential stacking. So we have positions in the hospital for patient care tech or a retractor holder, or some of these that are a beginning level person can go into. They get that training or certification, then they can come into an associate's degree and apply some of that knowledge and get credit for it to get a certificate like in Surge Tech. And then when they get that certificate, even if they're working, they can come back for an associate's degree or a baccalaureate degree, even if not in that same profession, in a related profession. For example, they can be a patient care tech in the hospital, come into the nursing program. They can be a paramedic in the field and come into the nursing program, or they can be an LPN nurse and come into our associate or baccalaureate degree program, because we built those bridges and allowed those credentials to stack to help them along their way.
Well, it looks like whatever they're looking for, they're going to find it with you all. Thank you so much for coming in today, Dr. Langdon.
It's a privilege, and thanks for having me.
I appreciate it. We've been talking with Dr. Steve Langdon from the Southeast Health School of Nursing and Health Sciences. It's a long title. And we'll be hearing from Dr. Libby Williams next on Cape Chronicle.
Hey, let's check out this park. Oh, wow, that's really cool. To find a great local park or forest near you, go to discovertheforest.org.
I'm Rudy Tempesta. I'm 92 years old. I fought in World War II. Then I came home, worked for the post office for 70 years. I've been getting Meals on Wheels, and I enjoy it. The most important thing about Meals on Wheels is you meet the people, which to me is fantastic. You need people to keep your brain moving. That's what life is about. It's love and having a conversation with people.
Welcome back to Cape Chronicle. I'm Audrey Kane. Dr. Libby Williams is the director of Cape Girardeau Career and Technology Center, here to talk to us about the importance of educating high school students about healthcare and technical careers. Thanks so much for coming, Dr. Williams.
Thank you.
May I call you Libby?
Absolutely.
Great.
Absolutely.
Well, it's great to have you here because one of the unsung gems of Cape Girardeau is the Career and Technology Center. There are a lot of people who do not even know that it exists. It hides out kind of just south of Cape Central High School. But there are so many great programs within your center, and I know that you're very proud of it. Any new programs that have come to the CTC that you want to maybe highlight and tell us about?
Sure. In my 16 years there's been a new something every single year. So we try to constantly be coming up with something new. All of our programs have advisory committees, and so we very much try to listen to business and industry and find out what they're needing in employees. So this year, currently, we started a computer coding and programming class. It was full right off the bat, so we have a full group, maximum number that we could take, so it's going very well. Lots of business partnerships with that program, and beginning next year, and this will only be for high school students, but we'll be starting a criminal justice program for high school seniors.
That program's a little bit different, though. It's not, they're not going to actually immediately start into learning how to work in the criminal justice system, but explain exactly what they'll learn.
Well, that one has been designed a little bit more for kind of exploration. In criminal justice, there are some things that a student could do straight out of a high school at 18 years old, like maybe being a communication director, somebody working in communications, or a dispatcher. So there are some options, but they are pretty limited. So a lot of the things that students would want to do in the criminal justice field, they are going to need more education for. And so we're just trying to educate them on what the fields are in criminal justice and what the reality is in criminal justice, because it's not what you see in CSI or SWAT or on television. So we want them to learn what they can realistically expect, and then pick wisely.
It's not live PD, so but interesting that's one of the programs that you all are bringing, and I'm sure that our local law enforcement agencies are probably thrilled that it's there to give them the ability to recruit from within the community.
Before we started that program, that was one of our things, is we got together a large group, about 12 individuals from many different local law enforcement, several counties, and asked them, what do you need? What can we help you? How can we help prepare students? And so anytime we start a program, it is based upon business and industry and community needs.
Are there other programs that you feel like the business community is really interested in keeping at the Career and Technology Center?
Well, really, it is just a there's really not any. There are times when we sometimes do away with the program. We end a program either because employment opportunities aren't there or students aren't interested. So that is a continual evaluation. But probably some of our most popular. We have several healthcare fields, and those are always full. Cape Girardeau is kind of a healthcare mecca, so obviously there are a lot of jobs in that area. And as we get older, as a society, there's security in that. So a lot of those, but really, we have automotive mechanics, and that is a very popular program, and construction and electrical, and there are just so many programs out there that we are doing that are kind of those middle skills for people, and that's kind of where the job market is at its height right now, are those middle skill jobs.
And those skilled jobs and technical jobs are kind of what you're transferring your focus toward. Correct. Because we've all been spoon-fed this idea that we have to go to a four-year university. Right. And don't get me wrong, I love our four-year university, absolutely, but it's not for everyone.
Right. Right.
And so what all are you all doing to increase the interest of high school students in those technical careers?
We are really just trying to work on, two things. We are changing our focus away from, we really want to focus on what is the credential, what is the certificate, what is the specific skill that is needed by the business and industry, so that we can guarantee that our students are prepared to go to work. We also do a lot of work with soft skills, because we know we can give them the technical skills, but if they can't show up and be on time and have communication skills, then they're still going to struggle. So we spend a lot of time with that. But really, it's just trying to change the perception of, believe it or not, it's not so much the student. Sometimes it is the parent, and I'm a part of that generation. Absolutely, 100%. And I'm a product of our local university, so absolutely, I support that. But there are a lot of jobs out there. We used to be told that in order to be successful, specifically financially successful, you had to have that bachelor's degree. And there were some recent statistics that I just saw that over 80% of jobs that require an associate's degree or technical training, so something less than a bachelor's degree. So 83% of those jobs actually pay as well, if not better, as jobs with a bachelor's degree. So there's actually some statistics out there that prove that you don't necessarily have to have that bachelor's degree, but you are going to have some kind of training beyond high school.
You just became the hero of half the high school students in our area. Well, Libby, it was so great to meet you. Thank you so much for coming in. There's so much that people can find out from the Career and Technology Center.
And we would love to have them come visit.
Thanks. We've been talking with Libby Williams, and after the break, we'll hear from Kirby Ray. That's next on Cape Chronicle. Great job. See? Obviously. Told you. It flies by.
Marie, you have prediabetes.
Prediabetes? I don't have time to eat right or exercise. I'm a busy mom.
Oh, you're a busy mom.
Yeah.
This is great news. Busy moms never get prediabetes.
Wait, what?
Let me just... Yeah, this is all the people at risk for prediabetes, and way over here, busy moms. No?
Bye-bye.
Hi. Hoping for a crisp breeze to help keep you alert. Oh, he took a sip of water too. That'll probably help. You were probably going to turn down the radio too, so you could focus, right?
Probably okay isn't okay.
Right.
If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
I think the water line is what really drove it home. I blew on him.
This is Cape Chronicle, and I'm Audra Kane. Real Rock 99.3 Program Director Kirby Ray is here to talk to us about all things Cape Girardeau and rock and roll. Thanks for coming, Kirby.
Thanks for having me, Audra.
I'm really having to resist the urge to, throw up the rock and roll.
We can do that.
I'm excited that you're here because everybody hears you on the radio every day, but not everybody sees you all the time. Unless they're out at a charity event or out at an emaciation concert or out at one of the many Real Rock remotes, you're everywhere. You should be like the unofficial Cape Girardeau ambassador.
Well, I love Cape Girardeau, and I'm so lucky to be here, and with the band and with the radio station and all the great places to check out around Cape. It's an honor that you say that, so thank you so much.
Well, you're a good representation of what Cape Girardeau is about. You're friendly and you love this town. How long have you lived here your whole life?
I've lived here since about 82, 83, and always came down here from Perryville, where I was born, and in the 70s. So I've always really loved Cape Girardeau, and obviously when I started junior high here in the 80s, I really had a good time with a lot of young musicians playing in bands.
How long have you been with Real Rock?
I've been on Real Rock since August of 97, and it really, to tell you the truth, it just feels like a couple of years. It really doesn't feel like all that time because I love what I do every day. I'm so excited to go in.
It's fun. I mean, radio's fun. I do it too. I know. It's once you get it in your blood, you can't get it out. What about your music?
Well, with music in my life, I listen to all genres. I find something from every genre that I like, and I think there's a little bit from every genre that's just incredible, so you got to search for that. And, with my band, I have about 4 different projects going on right now, and I play all different styles of music. I really like, music that has emotion and has passion, so, that's what I try to convey with what we do.
What were your big influences musically when you were young?
Well, the Beatles first, and Jethro Tull. My uncle got me into that, my mom's brother, and I've really kind of come back to them now. I loved them a lot in the 70s, but, AC/DC with Bon Scott in the 70s, and obviously Brian Johnson in the 80s. Those are some of my favorite things. I love that they have good music, and they don't need all of the stage show, the pyrotechnics and lasers. They don't have to have that because the band is good. But I really do like the aspect of, having something special beyond just the music. When you see AC/DC, Angus Young has the schoolboy outfit. So, I like when things are added into the music, like art, or the clothes they wear, or different things that they do add. But most importantly, it's got to be a good song, from a good band.
Do you spend some time out in the local music scene?
I do.
Go to shows. Do you find that the best bands are those simple kinds of bands that aren't trying too hard to do too much?
I think minimal is very important in music to me. I think sometimes people want to impress and become overly technical, and really you can't follow what's happening. And I think that minimalism is very important in music. It might be one reason I like AC/DC a lot. They got a formula that works, and it's pretty simple. They're very good at it, and I think that being minimal is really important in music.
Well, you're a minimalist in your music, but you are a maximalist, if that's even a word. It's not. But on your attitude in life, one of the things, and we've been friends for years, one of the things that I love about you is your positive attitude. You are always so friendly. You are always kind to anyone who comes up to you, and listeners come up. I cannot go out in public with you without a listener coming up and saying, "Kirby Ray, oh my gosh, I love you." Where did that come from?
Well, I'm glad you brought up positive energy, because that's everything to me. Every day I want to be happy. I want to make people around me happy, and the positive energy is everything. I mean, there are many negative things in the world and a lot of tragedy, but you have to stay positive, or you're not going to have a good life. So I try to talk to people with respect. And you ask where it comes from. My mom was a special needs teacher. My dad is really funny and very smart. My sister's a speech pathologist. My brother is a good chef. So I think the people in my family, are the ones that influence me on being positive and showing respect to people. And when you respect people, or at least show respect to them, I think that's one way of putting positive energy out there. And what's better than making someone feel good?
Nothing. And you make everyone feel good when you walk in the room. Your smile and your kind attitude and your enthusiasm for life. Have you got any fun things that you have going on? Because I know that you actually submit information from Real Rock to the Arrow for the Southeast Missouri State University's, mass media department. Do you have any other fun projects that you've been working on with the radio station? Because you do a lot of charity events.
Well, luckily, I got into radio because of music, and I enjoy music, but I found out that, we do a lot of public service and we help a lot of different organizations. And when I was a kid, I thought I might go into conservation because I love to be out in nature, and the different entities that we get to help, like Missouri Department of Conservation, Cape Girardeau Police Department, the Cape Parks Department, the Arts Council of Southeast Missouri, I feel like I do work for them because I help them to get the word out about their events. So there are a lot of events that are coming up with those organizations, and obviously there are music events that are coming up in Cape Girardeau, like the Shipyard Festival. There are concerts at the Show Me Center. You can always get to a concert in St. Louis. So many great shows coming up there. And my band has shows coming up. So, those are some of the things that we're working on right now. Obviously, giveaways with concert tickets and cash on Real Rock 99.3. You're always got something going on. I love it that way.
And I love that about you.
Thank you.
I know that everybody else loves that about you as well. Kirby, it's always great to chat with you.
Audra, thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming by. We've been talking with Kirby Ray. And thank you for your time, for joining us today for Cape Chronicle. The program is a collaboration between the Department of Mass Media at Southeast Missouri State University and the City of Cape Girardeau. Our producer is Nicolette Brennan. Our executive producer is Dr. Jim Dufek. I'm Audra Kane. Thanks for watching.